Bulldog Esports is broadcast live from the campus of Truman State University. Located in Kirksville, Missouri, Truman offers over 50 majors and 12 master programs. If you're looking for your next step in your educational journey, you will find what you're looking for at Truman State University. The following is a broadcast of Truman Esports competitive play. Truman Esports competes in Rocket League, League of Legends, and Smash Ultimate, and our program consists of coaches, athletes, and a student staff who all work together to bring home the wins. Keep up with the Bulldogs by following Truman Esports on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. And welcome to the broadcast.
Oh no. Well, I can get that later. Actually, no, I'll get it now. There we go. Okay. There we go. I'm back by popular demand. uh, Welcome back to another week of NACE Weekly. Of course, if you pay attention to our Instagram, you might have already seen the match for this week, being Truman Bulldogs, of course, makes sense. But going against the undefeated 4-0 Gustavus Adolphus. Um, they are a um, their university outside, residing in Minnesota. I really like their name. Of course, reminds me of a song that I really like. And the name is just kind of cool. They call themselves the Golden Gusties. But besides that, let's go look and take a little gander at what we're seeing for both of these teams going into this. I saw a little bit of Truman's discussion beforehand about what they were looking for in the players. I know that they have a Adolphus or Gustavus has a little bit of defined roster. Of course, what we see right now with Shadow Kitty being there. It doesn't say. In fact, it doesn't say for a few of them. That's a little aggravating because I can't see exactly who they're going to be playing as. But Shadow Kitty, Right Twix, Evan Carhit, Darkstar, and Hinzi for Gustavus. It's looking like probably Hinzi is going to be their bot laner. I know for sure that Evan Carhit is going to be their top laner, looking by their picks and what I knew Truman was discussing beforehand during their meetings, that he really likes the Shin, likes the Darius. That's what they're looking for bans if they can. Hinzi, a lot of Caitlyn coming from there. So Truman's probably looking for a ban going that way. For Gustavus, okay. Shadow Kitty is their support player. Most likely looking for. Truman's probably going to be looking for a ban going Syndra or Nautilus. Bright Twix is their jungler. Hasn't been doing a lot this season or this split. Maybe Mumu, possibly an Udyr. Darkstar. That would put. Darkstar is their mid laner. It's looking like Darkstar is a very good player overall, having a lot of talent in many positions, playing top, playing bottom, playing support, playing just everywhere, it seems. So, expecting some things out of Darkstar that way. Of course, we have Truman. It has their normal setup for the team going into this, having Luma at top, Meliora at the mid, Horse support, and of course Halo in the jungle. Halo in the jungle, but a slight switch around with Orchid going in place of Bees going into this game. For one simple reason of, I believe either Bees was busy and could not make it, sadly, or was sick. I'm not sure. It might have been Luma who was sick and Bees just couldn't make it. But I'm not 100% sure. Henry is going, or Luma is going to be playing tonight, but is not with us, and I think that is because Luma is sick. Of course, I imagine some of you are also noticing that we have some commands going in in the with Stream Elements. We have a few things. Honestly, I thought we had something for Truman. We do definitely have something for Bulldogs. We have something. I was very happy to learn because I didn't put that one in there. That we have a Biggle command. We also have, of course, Bulldogs, Dog. We have a few more. I imagine you guys will be able to find those eventually. But besides that, the game tonight. Um, of course, Truman's coming into this after that loss to, oh my lord, I don't know any names, but that loss last week, which I was not expecting that game to turn out that way. It really looked like Truman was going to be able to pull that one out, but things don't always happen the way that you're going to want them to happen, and they tried their best. I imagine that Truman is going to be rather invigorated from last week, really hoping that they can pull out this one this week, because of just that disappointment from last week. But of course, Gustavus is 4-0. They are very good this season. I believe they're technically not the top in the NACE rankings, only simply because NACE, because of the way that NACE works. Gustavus had not had its game, and so there was a team that was 4-1 that was above them. I can't remember who it was, but they are 4-0. I imagine once this game is over, that will be fixed or something. But of course, we're moving into. I stalled long enough for us to be going into pick phase, or pick and ban phase. I'm gonna wait for these to really go all the way through to analyze them all the way through. But I'm just going to point out a few things I'm already seeing. Shin was going to be a ban for Gustavus' top laner. I imagine, of course, NACE is going to be the same, and or it could be a ban for their jungler or their mid laner. That could go. NACE has really expanded from what I was used to. Caitlyn for their incredibly quiet. I will move it down a little bit. Hopefully, get a little bit closer to me, and I will move a little bit closer to it. Oh no. Okay, there we go. Caitlyn, of course, for was it Alberta? I'm not sure. But Caitlyn for their the bot laner for Gustavus. Gustavus is banning a few champions that were I imagine Truman was looking for in Jax and Skarner for obviously jungle. Lulu, I think that was somebody that Truman was talking about taking this game, but did not. Of course, just gonna keep on letting these bans get through. I'm actually rather excited seeing this pick coming from Luma. I love Set, and anytime that Set is in the game, I'm having a great time because it's Set. I really enjoy. Just Set gameplay is really fun. I am a top laner. I enjoy the gameplay. I enjoy playing Set. These other bans coming from Gustavus, Rakan, Lulu, trying to get those bans out for the bot lane, for the support. Not really. I don't think they're really respecting the ADC here coming from Orchid. Of course, and really just letting Orchid take their pick of who they're going to in the bot lane. Of course, we're to see what will come of it. Considering, if you give somebody their preferred champion, they obviously are going to feel a little more confident and probably feel a little better going into this bot lane. And we'll just see these finalized picks here for both Gustavus and Truman. Looking for Set, Udyr, Akali, Jinx, and Poppy for Truman. I know that a lot of these guys on the Truman side are fairly comfortable with these champions. Meliora, I believe we saw Akali multiple times last week. I know that Meliora is good with Akali, and I'm expecting some good things coming there. Jinx, of course, Orchid, that is the preferred pick when it goes into the bot lane. I am almost sure of it. Poppy for Horse. That is just a good pick for the bot lane. Going against Illusion is pretty decent, especially being able to punish that dash if they can get it. What else? Udyr, not something that I have seen Halo play just yet, but I have no doubt that is going to go very well. Luma, I know, is a very good aggressive top laner, getting those kills early and being able to do it that way. And I have no doubt in my mind that Luma is going to do very good with the Set, because Set is just somebody who can do so much throughout the whole game. Really only falls off in the really late game. Otherwise, Set is just a good pick overall. Of course, for Gustavus, there is Adarius, Nocturne, Orianna, Lucian, and Milo. We know that Truman struggled a little bit with the Nocturne. I think it was like 2 or 3 weeks ago. It might have been 4. I was out for one of these recently. And Truman, of course, I imagine will have learned from that and take that information into consideration coming into this match. Orianna, that is somebody I really don't doubt that Meliora will do pretty good things going into an Orianna. I'm not 100% on the playstyles of Orianna, but I know somebody who's fast and can get around and who you can't really see to use your abilities on all of the time is probably going to be a little difficult. Darius into a Set, of course, you just have to make sure you're paying attention to bleed and making sure that you're picking your fights, and when you want to, making sure you use that W when you can, trying to shield from all of that damage that Darius can just pump out there. Lucian, of course, can be a little difficult to deal with, but I know that comparatively, depending on how long this game goes, that Lucian will fall off and Jinx will just scale, just hyper carry against a normal carry. It'll go its ways. Poppy versus Milo. I don't believe Milo has any dashes. It's been a little bit, but I don't think there's anything you can really abuse there. Just as simply, Poppy is going to be able to do her thing and knock up, get those stuns in, getting those knocks into walls. Milo of course can pump out damage, and it's really that burn and that extra magic damage that really is the deciding factor when it comes for Milo. But of course, we will see. I have to go get stuff switched over. I will be right back.
Welcome to Summoner's Rift. 30 seconds until minions spawn. Minions have spawned.
Okay. The very start of this, it's looking like, ooh, they have a Halo starting on Birds. and Gustavus has are starting on their that's their blue side for their Nocturne. We're seeing some early fighting going on between Luma and Darius, pulling Darius into there, doing some good damage, getting that Conqueror proc. Hopefully, going to be able to do a little bit more. Having that Conqueror is going to be the sort of the game changer there for the top lane, because having that Conqueror and having that heal during the laning phase is really the difference maker when it comes to playing against the Darius. Doing some little more damage, getting those punches in. Of course, really kind of obviously, if you can stop Darius from getting that bleed early, is really what you're looking for. At least that's what I struggle with when it comes to playing against the Darius. Is up top. Of course, we see Orchid and Horse in the bot lane, looking for some. Of course, we got a Horse hiding in that bush, looking for any opportunity to get shoves and stuns. Using using those abilities that Poppy has, getting that extra damage in, and getting that poke is really good for Truman here going into this bot lane. That is what I believe that is what it's not what I believe. Both of those comps are a little pokey when it comes to it. See Meliora doing some good damage against that Orianna early, getting that damage out. But when it comes to that bot lane matchup, what they're looking for, a good E coming in from Papa, coming in from Luma, and that great W and a good Q, getting that extra damage on that Darius, probably causing him to, if he doesn't, he's gonna have to back. Or he's just gonna stay in lane and hopefully. Heal off what he has. Mayor's looking for some good damage early and getting that damage out against that Orianna, playing it safe and keeping that distance, making sure that Orianna can't reciprocate that. We see, Udyr versus Nocturne. Another good E from Luma as ignited the Darius there, and he has to back. He has no other option. Truman is pinging down low, trying to warn them of possible that their bot lane is not there, and we see Nocturne going across. I hope Truman recognizes the fact that they're probably going to be setting up for drag very soon. Horse goes in there. That's a little dangerous. Of course, going into face checking a bush by yourself. Also, when you know that the enemy bot lane's not there, that can be a little bit dangerous, especially seeing that Nocturne going across there. But it plays it safe, gets out of there without any worry. While Truman just keeps on doing their thing. They're looking for that, setting up for that drag, and it definitely looks like Udyr is trying to create a little bit of priority for them as they try to set up for it. Orianna's teleporting in mid while this is all happening. Orianna's trying to push in that lane a little bit more. Truman is looking to shove the wave and possibly then rotate into the drag while they're paying attention to Nocturne is there. Although he isn't as strong as he can be without that ult. Luma is doing some good damage trying to get that proc off. A very good W while they both proc off that Conqueror. This is not looking great for Luma. Yeah, that's where Darius is just so good, having that Q and just having that pull. It can be really hard to deal with, especially when you have an up close champ. Darius is really difficult to deal with, and I think one of the best ways to do it is just having a long range champion, like maybe a Quinn, maybe even going at a Teemo. Teemo, I've gone against a Darius with a Teemo. It doesn't always work as well as in your favor because Darius is just simply the way he is. He is always good. That bleed and that extra damage is always so good. While we don't see Truman's looking to possibly do something here mid with the Poppy going around, trying to stop and shoving anything that's going to happen there, doing some damage here. As the Nocturne comes in, they're trying to help their Orianna, but nothing really conspires of anything there. Just doing some damage for both sides. Orchid is, of course, all alone in the bot lane. Gustavus knows that, and so Orchid just has to play a little safe. A great shove into the wall, trying to stop that Nocturne from doing anything. Oh, and a great dash from Meliora to get the kill on that Nocturne as... of course, Luma comes down, trying to get some pressure off of that, so Luma doesn't die here. Orchid has to play really, really safe, getting dive under tower here. It always isn't the best position for an ADC, but they go back in for it, and if they... dang, no tower shots to save Orchid there. That was really good, trying to stay away from that damage that Gustavus was putting out there. Orchid almost cinched it out and could have possibly gotten a kill there, possibly two, depending on how it went, but of course, that didn't happen. Truman is looking for a gank up here, up top. Darius is doing so much damage early, and there's the ult, and it causing Luma to run away. Luma has to play it safe here. That W is going to do a lot of damage, but Darius is just so good. He does so much damage. He just heals so much with his Q and his E. There's not too much you can do here. You got to be careful paying attention to Darius, because if you aren't careful, he can easily snowball. He's a very snowbally champion. He gets kills early, and he's just oppressive through the whole game. Truman just has to pay attention here. Of course, they are pushed out of bot priority because they are trying to horses up there, trying to get those kills on the Nocturne and the Orianna. But it isn't necessarily bad for Truman here. The gold, it's only a little bit of a 2k gold difference, only one drag. Of course, Truman was able to get, I believe that was Baron Nashers, I think they're called. I believe they're called Baron Nashers. Or I might be wrong, and they're called something else. But Truman here is just trying to look for something to get going, possibly get a ball rolling in one of these lanes. Of course, Meliora has a kill, but is the only one for Truman right now. Truman's looking for something else, possibly a mistake coming the opposite way through Gustavus. We know that a lot of these Gustavus players are really good. I believe that Hansi is a pot one. Evan hit car hit. Sorry, is a emerald, and I don't believe Right Twix has a rank. Shadow Kitty is bronze. It isn't necessarily horrible, but it can be a little bit. I probably should pay attention as there's some action going on down in the bot lane with Poppy pushing in, but nothing going on. Oh, and another great damage going in from Meliora, but it was able to get out. But Nocturne is there doing damage. There's Darius, but Urdur is right down there coming in with the ult. Oh, that is so much damage. Of course, getting those kills early can really snowball into to even more damage coming from that Darius. That was not a bad idea coming from Halo. It's just he does so much damage, and of course he's just going to keep on doing more and more as he's the first one to get item here. Truman's bot lane is trying to do something here. As they really have their combo coming in through Gustavus is doing a lot of damage. It would probably be imperative for Truman to keep on trying to keep this bot lane, trying to keep on pushing forward. Of course, Meliora is down bot, trying to do the best she can. She's been doing very well this game, getting some good damage in and getting that 2 kills now off Meliora, off the Orianna and the Nocturne. But that's another kill for the Darius up top. It is just so hard to go against the Darius. It is just with any position. If you don't cut him off from the source, from him being able to do anything through the early and mid game, he can really just become an overwhelming force, as he's just going to be able to chew down on your tower, do a lot of damage, heal. His sustain is so good when it comes to playing. Sustain is so good when it comes to going up against other champions. We see Gustavus is, of course, getting those Void Grubs. Yeah, not Baron Nashor. Baron Nashor is the big serpent guy. My bad. Void Grubs. Ooh, another big pull coming from their Darius, doing a lot of damage to Udyr here. I'm not so sure. Well, a pretty decent play coming from Meliora. I was a little bit dangerous going into both the Melio and Oriana, but able to get out of there without too much harm going and getting some good damage on both of them. While Darius just, there's not too much you can do. Hopefully you can get farm. You just have to wait for him to. Really, you got to play back, play safe. You might have to play a little more passively here. Being 5-0 with that early bounty is not good. He's, of course, has also gotten that first blood. You just have to play safe. You can't really engage with him. You have to wait for him to push in his lane for you to do anything here. Of course, we see a little bit of more action because Milo had to rotate up top for Truman in the bot lane here for them trying to do something, try to create priority and shove in that wave so that Truman can try and set up for this drag here, as we can see them doing, looking for any wards, looking for anything going down in the bot lane as they set up for this next drag. And it looks like they've cinched it out, trying to keep Gustavus out of it, and I don't believe they're going to, as Melio was, of course, recalled, and they can't. Gustavus doesn't have too much pressure there. Melior doing some crazy damage there to the Oriana, and that was something that I was pointing out a little bit beforehand when we were going into the pick and ban phase, is that Oriana going against an Akali isn't the best trade-off. There's having, of course, Akali is an assassin going up against a mage who can't do too much if you're getting, you know, assassined upon, getting constantly burst down. But having that ability to shadow in the middle of lane and stop Oriana from targeting you directly is very good for Akali, and it just allows her to do a bunch of damage here. As the first tower for Truman falls, something that I just expected to happen given Darius. Truman going in with the, I imagine the set pick was first made into that Darius, because if it was me, I would not go set into Darius. As much as I would probably prefer set as his play style is just, it's very top laney. I'm not entirely sure it's going to, if it's going to continue to happen, if we're going to continue to see it going into this next map. I think Truman has to think about what other decisions they can make in order to. Oh, that was a great ult by Luma, and a great flash going over and trying to get that damage. And while Truman, Melior is great priority focusing down on that Darius to try and get that damage, but just so much damage coming from the Darius against the set, getting that kill. If that was positioned a little bit better, I have no doubt that Truman would probably get that kill there on that Darius, given how much damage. And we see here they are just pincering in on that Milo as oh my gosh. Ozzy comes in there and tries to defend their support from getting killed there. That was great positioning from Truman, just overall, trying to get those kills there. Melior is looking for, trying to snag that kill on that Oriana. Truman is just kind of just playing catch up right now. They have to be. Oh, this is not a good spot. Oh, great barrier from Orchid there, and just you got to recall. That's the only thing to do. Horus is down there, of course, to protect that Lucian from getting anything that way on Orchid. And we see a gank setup trying for the bot lane. But I know Truman has vision there. They can see the fact that they are all down there trying to set up for that gank. They're just trying to protect it from happening. Truman has to, they got to play safe here. That Lucian is so far ahead now. You know, not having the support all the way through lane, and of course, isn't necessarily a bad thing. But I think when it comes to a situation like this, you might want to try and prioritize your ADC survival in this way. Oh my gosh, two big plays from both Gustavus and Truman. That was a fantastic E coming in from Horse, saving Meliora from certain doom there. But that was very evident from both sides, just a lot of damage. Of course, Melior was in a great position there to get damage off on that Orianna to just do some damage here. As we see, Truman's going down in the bot lane, trying to get something working, going against that Lucian and the Udyr. A missed Lux ult, and not too much going on. And as Lucian goes in there and tries to ult on both of them, and doing some big damage to Orchid as they try to get out, but they can't. And Truman just loses another life to Gustavus. As they continue to push through, but with the way that Darius is pushing in on that set, that doing almost a quarter of your health in one ability is just insane. Of course, Darius has that extra lead, has 7 kills now, but just that much damage early game is just so good, and there's not too much you can do against it. Of course, Truman isn't in a losing position here. They just have to find a way to get back into this game. It isn't lost. Even with an 8k cold difference, Truman is still can fight their way back into it. They just have to play it safe, and they have to play. I think they have to play together here. Of course, you can't really do too much when it comes to top. Top is an island, but what they have to do is they have to play together as a team, trying to make sure that they limit their fights with Darius as much as possible. But if you can't limit your fights with Darius as much as possible, he might be the first one. If it isn't your ADC, and if it isn't Nocturne, it might be Darius. Darius is right now, it is such a hard decision on who you want to prioritize going into this drag, as Udyr is getting absolutely beaten up by Darius. It's just so hard to do anything against a Darius who's just that far ahead. And Truman is just losing this fight outright. Set tries to get 2 kills, both on the Orianna and that Milo, but you just can't get anything to work there. Of course, Akali is still alive. And the only thing you can do here is just, if you want to, possibly steal, but it's not worth it. You are just going to die. You're probably going to die if you don't have an effective way to getting back out, and that drag isn't that important to just try and die and steal for. Truman has to, when it comes to these team fights, they have to make sure they're very aware of the enemy's positioning. Because right there, that was what kind of made that fight there, was that Darius was able to swing around, cutting through their backline, and really just doing an incredible amount of damage to everybody. Of course, finding that Udyr out early and doing damage to him. And getting that early kill stopped Truman, really any chance for Truman to try and get that drag there, because Nocturne, of course, survived that whole. I believe, yeah, he survived that whole fight. And he didn't lose anything there. The only people to die on Gustavus' side was the Milo and the Orianna. As Horse has to find a way out of here. Oh, an amazing flash getting out of that pull from Darius. He is just the most dangerous person on the field right now. As Meliora gets that stun, but was able to survive that tower shot and get that kill on the Orianna. As the way it goes, as it is going right now for Truman, I think their best bet for getting back into this game is hopefully trying to make sure that Meliora continues to survive these fights and hopefully is able to scale enough that you can really get back into this game. And this is really the position that Truman has to be in when it comes to dealing with his Darius. You just have to go full in on everybody, trying to stop anything from happening. But also at the same time, anytime you're going to be doing that, of course, we're seeing this very evident right here as Truman is trying to escape this onslaught coming from Gustavus as they're trying to survive, is that if you're going to be fighting Darius, it's probably because their team is going to have very good communication. You have to pay attention to the rest of the people on the map, just in case they try to come in and save the Darius here. But as that skirmish goes on, Truman just pulls away, knowing when and where to pick their battles. A very smart decision to not continue that fight because they know they can't win that outright against the whole between the teams unless Truman can get a really nice pick out here on any of the champions for Gustavus, when it probably the one that you're looking for is either Darius. That is, of course, number one priority, as he is, of course, 10-0. He's got that 700 gold bounty. That is the person that you want to be looking for your if you can try and find a pick outside of a team fight, but. If you can't, Lucian is also a good... Oh, Horse gets pulled into that and is just blendered by the whole enemy team. You got to be aware of where they are. You knew that they were still there and that they were most likely going to be rotating into the mid lane as they are looking a way to end this game if they can. I don't know if Gustavus' game plan is probably to buy items and probably set up for soul if they want to. It's set up for soul and try to find a way to in this game, because although Gustavus is now fairly ahead, although only having about a K more bounty than last time I looked at it. They know that if they were to try and push into Truman's base there, it probably wasn't going to end up with anything. Truman is just looking for a way to get back into this. Of course, trying to get your Jinx into it and trying to get that hyper carry going is really what you're looking for to possibly turn these tides. Because of course, although a lot of the enemy teams, they are very good in the mid and early game, as Horse gets caught out again by this enemy team that is just roaming around and looking for kills now. Although the enemy team is really, really good through these early and mid game, if Truman can outlast it and try hopefully to pull it into as big ult, possibly that big W going in there for Luma as they're looking for kills here, and they're of course trying to split push in the top lane with Meliora. What they're looking for is to hopefully pull this game out to a point where they can scale. And that is going to work very well for Lux and Meliora if they can make it happen. As this is what I was expecting to see from Gustavus, is that they're just going to continue to push into Truman's base over and over again as they try to get more drag. Of course, they're going to use that little bit of Baron that they have left over to recall, resupply, and get items here, as they probably are going to continue to push mid, trying to get those inhibitors, if anything. They also probably are considering that Baron is going to be coming up sooner than next drag. They'll probably be trying to set up priority and set up vision around Baron Pit for the next Baron Nasher that comes up. What Truman really is hoping to do here, I think, is trying to find any pick that they can. It has been working out a little bit, but they can't seem to get the ball rolling when it comes that way. It only seems that they can really. Melior is going in there on the on their Lucian, but it doesn't really seem like anything's going to happen. As much as you want to try and get a kill here, try to find something, but you can't force it. They are going. The only time that you're going to be able to get a good fight as Luma gets in there, trying to get any kill that they can, trying to get some damage against their Lucian, trying to do anything here as it dies some Milo. Or Truman is really trying. You can't force these fights going into this, coming in this game, because if you try to force fights, they're just going to pick you apart. They're going to slowly and methodically pull apart who you have, as they're just bullying into Truman's, both into their inhibitors. Although they do not have the minions right now, the minions are moving down as they're looking for a way to continue to push this in. And it looks like Gustavus is going to set up, like I suspected, for Baron as they try to go for this final push. Truman they can't force fights, but they can't really, for them right now, it isn't a whole lot of forcing fights, and it's more of where can we try and survive, where can we try and pull ourselves back into this, looking for something in here. Of course, like I was saying, Meliora trying to go into that fight there. They have fantastic vision going throughout this game, trying to pay attention to every little thing they can. They are focusing hard on their vision scores. As of course, we see Horse just outpacing the whole match with 73 vision score. Of course, Milo is not far behind with the 56. But just overall vision scores for both teams, we're just seeing 30 and 23 and 31 for Gustavus. That is just a almost 10 score difference, and that can really make the difference in games like this when you're trying to find a way to get back in it as much as possible, trying to find a way to claw your way back into this, as Gustavus is looking for this Baron Nashor, and this will probably depending on I'm suspecting that Gustavus is probably going to try and they're going to either push mid, probably with Darius as a way, as a distractor, as while the rest of the team pushes top, trying to get that last inhibitor down and trying to push completely into Truman's into Truman's base. As Meliora tries to get away from this Darius, but he's focusing way hard on her, as Truman is able to push her off, but it can't squeak off enough, and as you have that you have the kill in from their jungle, as they are just demolished by that, by having that. You have that Baron buff, you have all your inhibs down. You can't do too much for Truman here, and there isn't too much you can do here for Truman. You're probably trying to look for a way to get out of this, or a way back into that, but it just was not working. I will be right back as I try to switch over these screens here. So that was the first map. I think. Well, I think it's pretty evident what we saw there. Just Darius. he there's probably a little bit more analysts coming when it comes in the way of bot lane and jungle, and well, of course, Meliora. But I think that it's very evident um, that Darius is just the way he is. I don't. Possibly, Truman, when it comes to the Darius, if that pick is going to be happening, okay. If that pick's going to be happening, you gotta pay attention to what fights you're going into them, and how much. It's really hard to tell how much damage he's going to be outputting because it is simply the way Darius is. He just does a lot of damage overall, and so I think of course Set isn't the best pick when it goes into Darius. You probably want to try to find somebody who can play a little more off him and it isn't always in his face. In that range where Darius just like does a bunch of damage, especially on the outskirts of that Q, in that E. It's W. Any of his abilities, you just gotta play away from them, or just try to minimize how much damage they're doing as much as possible. Because if you try, possibly like when it comes to his Q, I believe he does more damage the farther you are out. So the closer you are in, trying to play a little more aggressive that way might work. But Darius just does a lot of damage, and when he gets fed early, he can just snowball into just an oppressive champion that can really decide the game, a game for anybody. Any time that that Darius is in a game and he can snowball, it can really just throw the tide of that game in favor of the team with Darius, of course, Gustavus. When it comes to the mid lane, Meliora did a really great job playing against that Orianna. Obviously, that was Meliora's picks. I believe that was Meliora picking into that Orianna, and so that you're going to find a champion that's more favorable. And it did a really good job mitigating how much damage that Orianna could do. Trying to find kills where you can when it comes into that river and obviously, you can't always try and rotate and try and gank for that Darius, especially. Although, if you could, Meliora might have been a nicer pick because we saw Meliora do a bunch of damage to that Darius when it came into that mid lane where Darius was roaming. If you can possibly get a gank from an assassin, it might be work a little bit better than an Udyr into the Darius, but I imagine. It's just the way the bricks fall. Halo, of course, did a really good job trying to make sure that your lanes are staying healthy and good, getting that priority. But you can't always save them, and of course, mistakes happen. When it goes into that bot lane, Truman was really trying to get the ball rolling with, of course, the Jinx. That is your preferred champ. That's your preferred champ. Going into that, it's really what you wanted. But can't always have that. You're always trying to look for something in the bot lane, looking for a mistake that'll happen. But when you're playing against really good players, those mistakes are going to happen less, and so you have to. I believe I heard some of the Truman players were saying that possibly you want to look for less passive play. Try to engage them a little bit more, and trying to get those fights. Obviously, you can't always do that with a Poppy. Poppy is good for getting some damage and mitigating how much damage the enemy team is doing, especially to your ADC. Trying to keep the ADC off it with that push, with that W. Just trying to. It's really good PLCC. I'm not entirely sure it's really good engage CC. Obviously, there's times where Poppy works really good as engage CC, but when you're on the back foot, going into you're on the back foot in your lane, it can really be hard to get anything going with a Poppy. Not to say that isn't a good pick into that bot lane, because it necessarily is trying to stop trying to stop those Lucian dashes, and having that W stopping that Lucian dash can really disrupt the ADC play, but didn't really work out. I would like to point out something that Orchid, I believe the last time Orchid played, they were Bronze 3. That would have been like 3 weeks ago. 3 weeks ago, bumping all the way up to Gold 4. I think that's at least a little impressive. I wouldn't be able to do that. I'm not that good at League. That's why I'm right in this chair, commentating, and not out there possibly playing. Also, I'm not good enough to pull any of those peoples out of those spots. Definitely, I would be second string all the way. but. That's neither here nor there. I think for Trimming going into this next game, I think there's a little bit of discussion, trying to make sure you're calling out who you where you're getting picks, calling out when you're going in on things and when you aren't. I think there was a little bit of confusion over comms about when they weren't going into things and when they weren't. Or when they were, especially when it came to drags and other objectives. So what they're looking, I think what Truman is looking for coming into this next game, because I won't say that it's lost. I feel like Truman definitely has, because that was such a one-sided game in the very beginning. I don't necessarily think that this game is lost in any manner. I think Truman definitely still has the ability to pull this back. It's really hard when you're playing against two players who are like 2 ranks above you or 3 ranks above you when it comes to that diamond. It's really hard to do anything there, and it is just they just have a very good game sense overall. But as we move into this draft and ban phase. I imagine we're gonna see a Darius ban from German. I would be a little surprised if there wasn't. Giving that Darius back to them might be a mistake. But it also might not be if they think about it. Like in the sense of if you give them the Darius again and you work around your mistakes that you were making in the previous game. Oh, okay, there it is. but if you work around the mistakes you're making in the previous game, you can really focus on it and try not to make those same mistakes and playing it back. If they gave them the Darius and they knew that Darius was going to be that pick, you could play a champion that really counters Darius, like a ranged champ or something like along those lines. Obviously, ranged champ isn't always the greatest against Darius because he just has the ability to pull you into him. Darius is just so good against everybody. he's such a good champion overall. A ban for Truman of the Jinx. That was not something I was expecting. Garen, our Demacia boy, obviously not for us, for Gustavus. But that still is a little bit interesting. That Truman might be able to. Yes, that is what I expected. Something like Camille could do really, really good against those top laners that have are very, very good defensively, and they're just like good champions and can do a lot of damage while also retaining being able to sustain in the lane the whole time. Having somebody like Camille who can move around and do can really do damage while mitigating how much damage you're doing because of that movement, it can be really good. Ivern seeing Ivern from Halo, that's always exciting. I love seeing Halo play Ivern. It's just it's always fun. And Ari from Meliora. We've seen Meliora play Ari. I have no doubt in my mind that that Ari will be very good going into this game. I believe that Meliora can definitely get some work in there. Orchid with the pick with Caitlyn. I was playing a little bit with Orchid beforehand. Obviously, it was just ARAM, so it wasn't anything really important or really anything engaging or like stimulating of the brain. But getting a little bit of warm up, getting that confidence in when it comes to a champion, it can be very good. Oh, and the Nautilus pick coming, or well, I'm not sure yet. They're thinking about it, but probably a Nautilus pick that is some. Of course, Truman was talking about before. They don't really want to play passively when they don't want to play passively when going into this game because of paying passively when it goes into this bot lane, because that's how you can get caught out and you find yourself playing from behind like the whole game because you didn't want to engage or you didn't engage throughout the early laning phase, and then you find yourself behind because they were able to cut you out of all that CC, or not all that CC, all that crowd creep. And they are the ones who are instigating fights instead of yourself, and so they are making those decisions for you instead of you making those decisions for them. Having that Nautilus there really gives you the ability to make those decisions early and for yourself. Going against Zyra and a Rakan, obviously I love seeing Zyra and Rakan there. I love just their dynamic between the champions, and just having, I think the passive with the recall is really cool. And I really like their when you have a Zyra and Ericon that have matching skins, it's really fun. But I think I am not 100% sure. But obviously Caitlyn has a longer range than Zyra. I think Truman could play this fairly well when it comes to the bot lane. They just have to making sure that you're paying attention to how many feathers Zyra is putting down on the ground, and if they've been recalled or if they haven't been recalled, or if that ability is up for Zyra, you just have to pay attention to that one when it is happening. Udyr into Ivern. Oh, actually no, that's Udyr into Ari. My bad. I'm not very familiar with Udyr's abilities past rework, but I'm not entirely sure if Udyr has something that can really mitigate. I know he has the shields and he has all those kinds of things when it comes to his abilities, but I don't believe he has anything that can really stop that charm and Ari's Q. Overall, is just he's gonna have to take that damage, and so hopefully Ari can do something in the mid lane. Meliora can do something in the mid lane and get that working. And I know Ari can be very good over into your game. Obviously, as Ari can't be necessarily your carry unless they are just doing hyper well. They just do like they go 10-0 in lane. They obviously can't do like everything for you, but if you have somebody like a Caitlyn who is doing it and they're like 4-0, and you have an Ari who's 4-0 too, those two working together can go very well, and can be a lot of damage for Truman, and it can mean that a lot of good things are going to be happening. Ivern, obviously, Ivern is just very good at bushes, having those bushes, having Daisy. He's nerfed a little bit because of his passive, but I feel like Ivern is not a bad pick going into here. And Camille obviously is something that's is trying to counter that Garen. I'm not 100% sure, and if Camille is a direct counter to Garen or if he's a counter at all. But I know that Camille is really trying to mitigate that damage that Garen could be doing. Okay. After my yap session, I'm gonna go switch over the screens and make sure everything's good.
seconds until minions spawn. Minions have spawned.
Kind of sad I wasn't there for that. I was in the other room seeing Truman trying to go for that that engage there, that early engage, trying to get a kill off. But it's whatever. Obviously, Truman is just trying to. Oh, actually, no. I am completely wrong. I was looking at the wrong colors. It was Gustavus who were trying to go for that early engage there, try to get that early kills out. While we see Truman just trying to, I think they're just going to focus on trying to get something working here. Obviously, I was wrong, and it is Gargus in the mid lane and in Udyr in the jungle. That is what I mean. I wasn't entirely sure what was going to be happening there. I know obviously teams will have different ideas each time. Truman is just trying. I imagine they're going to be a little more aggressive when it comes into this laning phase, when it comes into the bot lane, trying to make something work and happen. Trying to be a little more aggressive, trying to get an early pull. Obviously, against Rakan early can be really good. Camille is doing a very pretty. Camille is going to do very well. Obviously, with that. The only champion with a physical shield, going up against a champion who does almost all physical damage. I believe he does. I think he does all physical damage, and I believe his Garen's ult is the only thing that does a different type of damage. And I think that does true damage. I might be wrong. Ooh, fantastic charm from Meliora there. Obviously, if you have the Q up, you could probably do a little bit more, but trying your best there, and a very good charm, trying to make something happen. Looking for something into this lane as Truman is trying to get some stuff working. Looking for possibly a gank setup here with Ivern in the bot lane as Ivern goes in, trying to get a fantastic hook by Horse onto the Zyra as they doing some. As they do some decent damage, and Zyra was able to flash over and completely keep off both the other champions off of Orchid and stopping anything from happening bad to Orchid, and of course Horse tanked most of that along with Ivern. Ivern's looking for something there. Oh, but Udyr is right there. Oh, the flash away and the flash from Udyr as they try to do something, and Horse is trying to look for a way to try and save Ivern there. But Udyr just kind of just backs off, knowing that you're dealing with towers there. You can't really do too much. But Udyr gets rooted again by Ivern as. Lumen is doing a really good job of really keeping Garen off his CC, off his crowd keep, and trying to keep him out of this game. I think that's what you're really trying to do with Camille here. Trying to make sure that trying to make sure that, oh my gosh. Garen, come on, lost it for a second. Garen can't get into this game, trying to keep him off of his, out of his creep. A good Q there from Orchid from long range, trying to do some damage and trying to get some stuff moving. Obviously, Truman is looking for something, a good wraparound from, and almost getting that root on there to the Garen. Sherman is just trying to get something moving around here with great pull off onto the Rakan, trying to get some good damage and getting that headshot, getting some decent damage from Caitlyn here, and also very good awareness of the feathers there from Orchid, trying to play off of them and trying to make sure that you aren't playing directly in front of them. Just in case Zyra can do any damage that way with that E. As Truman continues to look around, but Udyr is there trying to get that knock up on Caitlyn, but Caitlyn is just stuck there, can't do too much. You just had to resign to the fact that you're gonna die. You being trapped between all three of them, there's not too much you can do. There's just blocking and just the amount of damage that they're going to be outputting. And as we see, Luma is just trying to continue to stop Garen from doing what he wants to do. But obviously, you can't stop him forever. As Garen has incredible sustain in lane and has the ability to just shove it. While you with a Camille, you have to play with your mana and having to pay attention to that because you can't always get into a position that you're going to want. Obviously, Garen is trying to look for a kill here on your Camille, trying to go in there with that E and that Q and trying to get that R off, trying to get that Conquer off as Luma gets that level. It might possibly, what I'm assuming is going to happen from them is from Luma and the Garen is that Garen's going to try and go in for that ult. There's going to be possibly a shield going in from Luma, or a great charm and a great W and E or Q from Meliora there to get that great damage off on that Gargus. I'm not entirely sure what Luma's plan here is overall when it comes to ulting. I know that you're probably gonna have to wait a little bit longer before you can do any good damage, considering the way that it's going to work out. As Luma and Halo are down there. There's that ult going off in that root, doing some great damage on that Garen and getting the kill. Great job by Ivern, by Halo, and by Luma trying to get that gank on that Garen. And great job from Meliora being able to recognize the fact that that Gargus is out of your lane, trying to find where he is and stopping them from getting those Void Grubs. Of course, Meliora is just it can do a lot overall, having a higher amount of damage than that Gargus. But again, he has a lot of sustain and can survive a long time in lane. And that was pretty disrespectful. The flash into I think that was his ult. Yeah, flash into ult by Gargus, getting that burst damage down on Meliora, getting that kill. Of course, Truman is probably playing just mentally behind as well. Obviously, there's only like about a 2k gold difference as both Halo and Luma continue to try and get this Garen out of the game as he runs back to safety under tower. But Truman, they're playing a little bit behind mentally as well, having to deal with the fact that you lost that first game so handedly. It can do a lot of damage to the mental of the players on your team. And also we're continuing to see, and I think this might just be the fact that their ADC is a diamond player, but when you're playing against somebody who is so much better than you, it almost feels like you can't do anything, because once you get to a certain level within your game, there's, of course, you're going to be learning and gaining access to more and more information about certain things, and you're going to be learning stuff that these people have been learning for a very long time, and they're going to have a very good grasp of it overall. And a great damage coming in from Luma, using that good shield, waiting for that Q to be over and trying to get great ult from Luma as you try to try to get that damage on that Garen and try to get that kill there. But because they just have so much overall information when it comes to the game, it can be really hard to do a lot because they're just going to anticipate what you are going to be doing. It can like if you are if I'm playing in the bot lane against that good damage there from Luma, playing against that Zyra or not Zyra, Zarya. Say that, yeah. You, they are going to anticipate what your next move is going to be, especially considering a Caitlyn, because the overall anticipation of everything, like they know what your next move is going to be because they've seen it 100 times. It can be really hard, and because they're just going to, they're anticipating they're already anticipating your next move. They already know what's going to be happening. It really, a great pull from Horse and going in on the Udyr trying to get that kill. Obviously, great job. Nope, I don't think it did. No, okay. There was an ult from Orchid, but I don't think it was wasted. Luckily, just a little bit of a time buffer as it was coming back up from almost being used. I believe that's how most of those items work. It's going to be a reduced time on on it if it didn't go off at all. As the bot lane tries to go in, and then Gargus has just comes back in with that ult and just does an incredible amount of damage on both Horse and Orchid, and getting that kill on Ivern as well. There's not too much you can do there. Obviously, you would want to have a little bit of better vision, knowing that Gargus is going to be coming down there. Obviously, I was trying to get the camera fixed so that it would be a little bit wider so we could see a little bit more of everything, but for some reason the binding wasn't working. So I will have to figure that out. Obviously, I would have preferred to been able to zoom out and see that they were coming in there. As Luma tries to get something working, obviously being able to get behind a Garen is like the number one priority and idea when it comes to playing against a Garen, because if you get behind them, they have to spend that whole time turning around, and it's a lot of animation time, and it's a lot of negative frames that the Garen has to deal with when it comes into dealing damage. And obviously it's a lot of a timing thing. A great kill from there, bouncing off the wall and using your shield to block any damage coming in from the tower, as Meliora blocks Udyr from coming in and trying to do anything with the Void Grabs. A great charm as they try to pull Udyr off, and he has so much shield, and he has that healing ability that just continues to stop anything from happening. And of course, you have that Gargus who just does a bunch of damage, flashing in and getting that kill on Ivern there. As we see, all of the lanes are just trying to make up the damage that's being dealt. Of course, Camille is actually Luma's getting ahead of the Garen here, and that's what you would want to see. But then again, you're still losing in your mid lane now, and you're losing in your bot lane just pretty handily. And I don't. That is not to say anything bad for like Orchid or anything, especially because of the way that they're playing. Meliora is just being beaten down by the bot lane. It's just playing against somebody who's just at three ranks ahead of you. It's they're grinding this game. They're doing this all of the time, and obviously some people don't have that opportunity when it comes to it. You don't have the ability to focus League as the only thing that you're doing. I think that Truman is doing as best as they can against this team. It goes to say that Gustavus Adolphus is 4-0 for this season, and we have seen the other teams that Truman has had to deal with, and of course Gustavus has had to deal with. And if they are able to do much, and there is, I hate to say it, there was a biggle. There was a biggle right there from the Rakan on the knock up on Truman. It's something to say that that Gustavus, yeah, a great charm from Melior trying to get that get that gank out or trying to get that kill out on the Rakan, but it just is not enough as Gustavus continues to pummel in midward, trying to possibly end this game early. And they have those void grubs. They still have Shelly. They're just trying to end this as quickly as possible. As the whole team has to focus their attention on Camille. As Camille is trying to do something, but the ability misses and then can't gets the kill on. I believe they got the kill on the Gargus, but the Udyr puts him down. It is something to say that Gustavus is 4-0 in this season so far. Against the teams that Truman has also had to deal with. It just, they are doing so well. They are obviously having their team doesn't average out fully. Having a diamond and an emerald player and a platinum player in this league, while your team is being averaged out by a bronze and a silver player, or actually only recently bronze, previously iron and silver player. That those well, that's weird. Okay, no. Being averaged out by that, it can make it so that your certain positions are just going to do better, and they're just going to do very well overall. Especially against a team like Truman, who is just overall very good. Like having multiple golds, as Melior is trying to get some damage off on that Garen there, trying to stop him from pushing in. It's just Truman has to happen here is that Truman has to play a little bit of catch up as they try to get back into this game if they can, trying to find a way back into it through any avenue. But being this pushed in this far this early, it's very detrimental for your mental going into this game. As Gargus does a lot of damage, getting the kill on the Ivor and getting the kill on the Nautilus, and now your Ari just has to back off and trying to find a way through the jungle to get out of that. As we see Luma doing pretty good against that Udyr, as he has to flash away to get away from them, and it's Ari can't do too much here. Just you're silenced, you got that E on you, and then just Garen R's. Pretty disrespectful in my mind to wait that long, but you know, it's just the way the game goes. Truman tries to defend their inhibs, trying to stop the siege in their base from Gustavus, and it is just catch up now. If Truman can catch up, they playing behind on an almost 11k gold difference. You're playing behind 3 drags. playing behind 3 drags. The only thing you can do here is in trying to find a way to get back into this. That may come in the way of towers if you can try and get them. Other objectives in the form of Baron. If you can try and steal Baron from them, stopping that full push into your base, it will probably be the most ideal position for Truman here. But you gotta pay attention. Obviously you can't do a whole lot there when it comes to vision if you can't get the vision outright because the enemy team just will just completely jump on you as soon as they can find you. I think that is very evident through this whole game. Is probably the game plan of Gustavus coming into this. As soon as they exit out of laning phase, they completely focus on trying to catch as many kills here as we see the just Garen come in and blendering the back line, and Zyra just getting those kills as the ADC. Truman is just trying to back out of here as Gustavus is trying to just siege into their base, trying to get those kills, those final picks, and trying to trying to squash this game outright, and trying to get these towers down, and that's what they're looking to do. Completely push the enemy, the Truman, into their fountain as they just focus. Nexus, and that is game. Obviously, good play overall for Truman as they are trying to come back there, but there's not too much you can do. Trying to come behind against a team just that Gargus and that Zarya, or that not Zarya, this is not Overwatch. That Zyra in the bot lane, it's just so hard to do much of anything. But that puts Gustavus on 2 maps. That is the match for tonight. That brings Gustavus, Adolphus University to 5-0, and Truman to 2-4, which sadly means that I believe that Truman is pushed out of NACE, the NACE championships this year. But that does not mean that Truman's season is over. There's one more game next week against I cannot remember their name, but there will be a match next week against another NACE team. As Truman will try to get the win there, and of course, Truman, I believe, will continue to have CLAW games coming into the rest of this semester. Thank you for watching.